Now today, we're saying the side hustle.
Marissa, that's a little harsh.
You know what? My bad, I got a little too excited. But really, in today's video, we're going to go over the top mistakes of what people do when they are trying to do or get started with the side hustle to generate more income, and how it could really be a fatal mistake to their long-term financial goals and revenue goals. And I'll give you some practical hints and steps of what to do instead so that you can start a side hustle the right way and reach that $10,000 per month mark in revenue if that's something that you're interested in. So if that sounds good to you, give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps support the channel, and comment "get paid" down below, and let's get going. Okay, so one of the main things I see going wrong when people are wanting to start a side hustle is you got to distinguish what your goal is. Is your goal eventually more time freedom, I guess, in general? Or is your goal just kind of to dip your toe in the water and experiment in the market and see if your side hustle will actually work, see if it's something that'll produce more than just a side income, or see if it's something that you could eventually stop trading your time for money? Or maybe you didn't even think about whether or not you could eventually stop trading your time for money, because essentially the word hustle and side hustle, you're going to be working. This isn't a something you're striving for to make passive income. This isn't an investment like into the stock market, into crypto and watching it grow. No, this is an actual hustle. It's a daily grind. So I guess in the beginning where people go wrong is they don't really understand the long-term play. They just want to make money now, make money fast, and that's understandable. That is a great way to get a good cash injection into your income, or in addition to your full-time job that you have, whatever you want to call it. But let's talk about some of the things that won't put you on a good path to time freedom, to eventually creating passive income, and to eventually creating a business out of this side hustle, and some of the biggest mistakes I see all the time. Okay, so one of the first mistakes I see when people are starting a side hustles is it's not really an all-in type of mentality. And let me explain what I mean by this. So when somebody starts a side hustle, they're starting it when they're in a position that they hardly have any time, and it's just kind of they're starting this thing on the side where it's just kind of there. It's kind of like, I'll get to it when I can. And the thing with that is it doesn't allow you, or whoever is starting the side hustle, to not have that all-in mentality, where when you start a business and when you eventually want to turn your side hustle into a business, you need to take it seriously and you have to be all in, okay? And this is one of the reasons why I, back in the day, quit my job, which honestly, I say today that I quit my job probably a little bit too early, and I was a little bit too aggressive with that. But my mentality was all in nonetheless. And so the problem with not having an all in mentality is the next mistake, essentially, and that is not taking your side hustle seriously. Because when you kind of dabble in it and you're dipping your toe in the water, it's like, okay, those are the exact kind of results you'll get. Hardly any results, or just like really scattered results. And so the effort you put into something is going to affect the direct output of what you're getting out of that thing, and in this case, the side hustle. And so because somebody isn't taking this side hustle seriously, it most likely will end up just being a temporary thing, and this experiment will kind of just dwindle out and just kind of go down the drain. Because with halfway efforts equals halfway or no results, essentially. And so another mistake that I see people make when starting a side hustle that they actually want to eventually turn into something really profitable and make a business is that they don't start the business foundations off correctly. So what does this mean? I'm specifically referring to, in this case, creating a business entity. And so if you're really interested in taking this side hustle to the next level and making a lot of money with it, I mean, your intent is to make money, so I believe you should be starting a business entity. So that means registering your name officially and creating either a sole proprietorship or a single member LLC in a business entity, so you can legally do business. And when you start to make more and more income, you can take the expenses that you have that you're using towards this business and write them off. And so I see this a lot of times, especially with people in the United States. I'm not sure how it works in the other countries, but a lot of people are just using their social security number for all of their business and side hustle things, and that's not good, because you as an individual are not protected, right? You as the individual are not your business. You guys are two separate things. So when you start an LLC, for example, or a sole proprietorship, what you do is you get an EIN number, which is a number that is taxed instead of your social security number. So you use that EIN number at the end of the year when you're doing your taxes so that you keep any personal income or conventional job income separate from your business expenses and profit. And so no, I am not a CPA or a financial advisor or none of these certified type of people. However, I will say, people ask me all the time, do I need a LLC? Do I need to officially start a business entity? And my answer is probably, if you intend to make money now and in the long term from now, and to take it seriously and to treat it as a business, I would say that you do need to probably look into starting an official business entity for what you're doing. Now, the next mistake I see people doing is trying to scale a job, right? Trying to scale something where they are directly trading their time for money, and they continue to work so much and hustle so hard that time freedom gets further and further away from achieving, and it just kind of becomes this big mess. And this was me in the beginning. I was an entrepreneur I would say, because I wasn't really making profits. I was actually in the negative so much in the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, okay? But what I did do was I hustled so hard. I mean, I used to think that Gary Vee was just this god, right? And he was always making me like, the hustle hard, hustle, you have to put in the work, you have to always create content. And I was like,
Yeah, Gary, you're so right. You're so right. We should never miss a moment. We should always be working. Go, go, go.
and I would literally work between 12 to 15 hours a day. I was like, I can't leave my computer or else I'm going to, I don't know what I was thinking, but it's just this hustle so hard mentality that we're fed, especially here in the US. It's kind of ridiculous. It's like we're always thinking if we're not super productive, if we're not working like our asses off, then we're not doing a good job, period, right? And so I was just always go, go, go. And so if this is you, or if you have a side hustle that you're thinking of starting where you're like, wait a minute, that could potentially be me. So maybe it's like you have a lot of one-on-one clients, or maybe it's something where it demands a lot of your attention, like in person. Maybe it's an e-commerce store and you're having to manufacture or work with a manufacturing company in person, or something that's just demanding a lot of your time. Maybe it's a lot of networking, maybe it's a lot of calls on the phone. Whatever it is, think about it and think, wait a minute, I'm not exactly sure if the answer to making more money is working more, because it's not. That's not the answer. And so I guess my point to this is make sure that you have a strategy that when you want to be able to work less, when you want to be able to 1 week take the whole week off or whatever it is, that you have a plan that will allow you to do that, and that your side hustle or your income generator, your eventual business or whatever it is, can support you during that time off. And so the next mistake I see with people getting into side hustles and hustling is not having clarity. And so what I mean by this is some people just start a side hustle and they start hustling just to go through the motions. It's just to claim that they're hustling and that they've started this thing, and that maybe it is generating the money, but they're just going, and there's not really a direct path, and they don't see the end goal, right? What is the end goal? What is your why? And so hustle is actually, I'm like going back on my own words, but hustle is a great thing when it's mixed with passion, because if you're in a position where you do want to get out of it, maybe it is you're wanting to leave your 9 to 5, or you're wanting to increase revenue, or you're trying to raise money for the certain thing, whatever your goal is, make sure you're passionate about it, because this hustle and this grind will run out. The energy to do it will run out, because the upwork hours in the beginning, the inexcusable hard work up front is, there's no way around it. You have to work hard up in the beginning, right? There's no 4-hour work week in the beginning. That's just not possible, okay? So make sure that you have clarity on your why and the real purpose behind what it is you're doing. If you're wanting to have a meaningful hustle and you're wanting to make an impact, and you see the vision for the short term and also the long term, because that is the happy medium, so that when you're putting in these hustle hours, you're avoiding the burnout, you're avoiding these things that really mess with your mental health. And it's not something where you're waking up every morning and you're having to do a whole bunch of prayers and affirmations like, oh, you could do it, oh, you can do it, because you're so exhausted and your heart's not really in it, okay? So really find that clarity and your purpose on why you're doing this thing and why you're starting this side hustle. And so why am I making this video? I know this is a weird thing to say right in the middle of the video. And by the way, if you guys are interested in joining my email list and getting updates from me and getting some free resources in the next couple of days, go ahead and download my Subscribers to Sales Blueprint right up here, or the first link in the description, which is the 6-step blueprint, which will help you monetize a YouTube channel and build a real side hustle and a real business out of it the correct way. And so, yeah, check that out if you're interested. And I guess let me just back up a minute and explain why I'm talking about this today, because I was thinking to myself that in the beginning of my career, or not my career, but once I started to get the hang of things and started to produce a stable income as an entrepreneur and with my new online business, I was so attached to my business and I was so deep in the business, working all the time. I would work 7 days a week. I would feel extremely bad about myself if I wasn't always being super productive, if I wasn't always squeezing out the most productivity in a day, if I wasn't always checking all the 7, 8, 10 to-do lists off the tasks on my to-do list off the list. And it was crazy. I was such a workaholic, and I was claiming that, you know, I had built this business to have a laptop lifestyle, to be able to travel the world, be a digital nomad, which I did, which is amazing, which was only possible because of my remote work as an entrepreneur and my, you know, having the YouTube channel. However, I was exhausted from work at some point, because it was all revolved around me, and my input and my output and my revenue depended so much on my input, and I just kept working, and I just thought I had to be in such control of every aspect of my business. Even when I started to hire out different things in my business, it was always like I was so paranoid about things not getting done, and I would have to work even more to manage other people on my team, and it was just getting kind of crazy. And so there came a point when last year my husband and I found out that we were pregnant, and I was like, OMG. And I was like, what does that mean? That means a baby is gonna be here in the next 8 to 9 months, which is gonna require some of my time. Okay, so the baby's here. My beautiful baby boy was born 8 weeks ago at the making of this video, and it's been such a blessing. And I just wanted to say that I share this because the whole shift in while I was pregnant and getting ready to take a maternity leave was crazy, because I realized that I didn't have a conventional job. I had my business, which was not at the time ready to give me a maternity leave. So if I left, then my revenue would go way down, right? And so I'm like, okay, this isn't good, and something has to change so that I could take a proper maternity leave once the baby gets here. Okay, so I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And I really had to create a lifestyle business, and I really had to put my money where my mouth was and create a true lifestyle business where the business revolves around my life and not the other way around, because that's what it was for the first 3 years in business. Was my life was revolved, and I was definitely an employee to my business, and I was getting stretched in so many different directions, and the demand for my time was so high, and I would have just probably kept working and working and working, and I never would have forced myself to discover a way to really truly have an automated business and lifestyle business that supports me and what I want to do and my family, and be able to give me the true time freedom that I want. And so if you are thinking about creating and starting a side hustle, I want you to think way down the line. I want you to think about, if in 2 years from now, 5 years from now, if you can automate this business, because that's kind of step one to creating different passive income streams within this side hustle, within this business, is how are you going to replace yourself? Because if you take yourself out of the equation and your revenue goes down and things just fall apart, then you don't have a business. you have a side hustle that's wearing you out and you have a job, okay? So you have to think about the moving parts within your business and say, okay, if I were not here or something were to happen to me, what would happen to this? What would happen to me producing videos? What would happen to this sales funnel? What would happen to me having to do coaching and all the clients that I have? What would happen to maybe you're a freelance writer or a blog writer? What would happen if I wasn't able to write blogs? You really have to think about these things and think about the pros and cons of each. And I say this because the faster you make moves to get these things automated or to help and hire a team to help run this part of your business, the more and the faster you will be in control and own your own lifestyle, and you'll be able to dictate how much time you can take off. You'll be able to travel whenever you want. You'll be able to really have that time freedom back, and if you want to raise a family and take maternity leave like I did and I wanted to, then you will be able to do that. And I'll give you a prime example in my business. One of the things I knew I had to do during my pregnancy and leading up to my maternity leave is like I had to hire another one of me, right? And what I mean by that is my job, before I hired an operations manager, that's who I'm talking about. My job was so revolved around assigning tasks and checking in the progress of projects and the progress of the team and making sure that everyone, marked their things and tasks as complete. And it was exhausting. And this took up a huge percentage of my time where I could not focus on the more important things like scaling the business, making sure the students and the clients that came into the company are well taken care of. And so I had to really put my foot down and force myself to hire an operations manager to take over my whole entire team as far as operations wise, which has definitely been amazing. And it's been the reason I've been able to enjoy my time with my son and be confident that my business, as I stepped away, is running like a well-oiled machine. And all of the moving parts and income streams that are generating money are continuing to do this because they have oversight that does not require my time. And so I knew I was definitely on the right track to have the business of my dreams, and I was definitely in position because a lot of my income streams, almost all of them, already are passive or have the potential to be 90 to 95% passive. And I say passive, I should say more of like recurring and automated revenue. That's more of an appropriate term in my opinion. But I really had to put my foot down and hire the support I needed to be able to take my foot off of the gas where I didn't really need to have it. And so I would say make sure that your business model is something that you can build up. You can build up the brand. The business model makes sense to the lifestyle that you want to have. So maybe that's implementing more digital products to sell and to make it more passive. Maybe that's if you're doing some type of coaching, maybe that's hiring another coach that's an expert at what you do so that they can help you with coaching calls in a group setting. Maybe it's going from one-on-one clients to having a group coaching program. That's what those are the things that you have to think of. And going back to like the clarity and the point I was making before, the way that you're really going to get to those 10K months fast is picking a business model and a side hustle in the beginning that'll be conducive to the goals that you have if you want more time freedom, because you're not going to choose building an Etsy store that requires a lot of handmade products and a lot of your time up front. You probably won't want to choose that, okay? It's a combination of both monetizing your magic or monetizing what you're really good at and your passion, in addition to a business model that's going to allow you to be able to free up a lot of your time in the long run. And that's going to make a lot more sense to all those hustle hours that you have to put up in the beginning. It's going to make sense, all right? You're going to be hustling, but it's going to be a hustle and a fun, enjoyable journey to the end goal. All right, thank you so much for making it to this point in this video. If you love this video, don't go away, because this video that's coming up next is going to give you 15 different digital products where you can realistically make over $1,000 or around $1,500 per week. And if you're wanting to start a side hustle, these are the types of products I would focus on. I'll see you right here in this video. Just click. Who doesn't love the lazy way? In today's video, we're gonna go over several different ways where you can start realistically making around $2,000 a month, even if you're a brand new beginner to online